But starting off, getting into some kind of fun news. The Ravens wide receiver core, which we've talked about a lot, is not good enough. We wanted Miles Boykin to step up. We wanted them to use Duvernay, which they didn't do. We wanted Hollywood to stop dropping passes. And you know what? Playoff Hollywood was pretty darn good. So I was happy with his performance there. But overall, they need to upgrade their wide receiver core. And a report came out that they are reportedly targeting AJ Green and Corey Davis. Now, I saw somebody DM AJ Green on Twitter. They were like, "Hey, AJ, there's reports the Ravens are, going after you. What do you think about going to Baltimore?" And he was like, "Man, I ain't gonna go play for them Ratbirds," or something along those lines. Like AJ Green is not going to come to Baltimore, which may be a good thing because AJ Green hasn't been the same player. But Corey Davis is somebody I want to talk about because I think he would be a horrible signing for the Ravens because the Ravens need a wide receiver one. Corey Davis, last year, over his stats, like he's good. Corey Davis is a good player. By no means am I trying to say like Corey Davis isn't good, but he had 984 yards and 5 touchdowns on 65 receptions. He's a good player. But he's playing with Derrick Henry, who helps the passing game a ton, and he's also playing with A.J. Brown, who's the best after the catch wide receiver in the NFL, the best crosser guy. And he's playing with a really solid quarterback in Ryan Tannehill, who's able to throw them the ball. The Ravens need somebody that can take the pressure off Hollywood. Corey Davis isn't really going to do that. And honestly, he'll just take away snaps from the young guys with potential, like a Devin Duvernay, who could end up being better. Or even a guy that we've talked about a lot, which is James Prochet, who could get some reps maybe next season. Signing Corey Davis just restricts those players, wastes cap money on a guy that you were paying rookie money to produce. Like, overall, I don't think that they need a wide receiver to sign. If they want to go after a big-name guy, I'm okay with paying them a lot of money. If you go for a wide receiver one, a guy like Kenny Golladay, a guy like Allen Robinson. I'm not even that big on Chris Godwin. I don't think that he's really the guy that they need. But I think, a wide receiver one, they could go after, and I'd be like, boom, yeah, that's a big signing. But signing a wide receiver two will not do anything. This isn't a veteran Ravens traditional signing that we see out of the Ravens every once in a while where it's like, oh, wow, that guy's a baller. We saw it most notably with guys like Derek Mason, Anquan Bolden, Steve Smith, but even the smaller guys like Mike Wallace, John Brown, who come in and it's like, wow, they're able to fit a role. Those guys were playing with very different quarterbacks and very different play styles, and they did fit a role. Mike Wallace and John Brown, Joe Flacco throws the ball deep. He needed some speedsters. The Ravens just need really good wide receivers. Like, that's the need they have, is they need a dominating type of wide receiver. And Corey Davis isn't somebody that's going to dominate a game. That's who they need. Allen Robinson can take over a game. Golladay can take over a game. I'm sorry to Corey Davis fans out there. I mean, if he comes to Baltimore, obviously I'm going to root for him, but I think it would be a bad signing. It'd be wasting money where they can spend it either on a pass rusher or spending that money on a better wide receiver, possibly second tight end or something of that nature, because they're getting money that after cutting Ingram, they get that money, possibly losing Judon, all those guys. They're going to have a fair amount of money to maybe go after somebody. So don't waste it on a role player that's going to get, above market value for his contract because, he put up good numbers and wide receivers are almost always overpaid. So not a fan of this signing. But Joshua, I've kind of ranted a little bit. What do you think about Corey Davis and him potentially coming to Baltimore?
Listen, Ravens family, we then went back and forth. I think when we first started the podcast, that was the first thing we were talking about: wide receiver, passing game, wide receiver, passing game. And then during the season, what we talk about? Wide receivers, the passing game. And then and then even towards the playoffs, we still talk about the wide receivers, the passing game. It takes for your guys like Des Bryant to show you that, hey, we actually do have passing plays. Greg Roman just doesn't call them for us. And now you have Miles Boykin. He showed a couple glimmers, that he actually could be a number one wide receiver, or he could go across the field, and that he can actually catch the ball. He can actually extend the play. But still, we still needed more. Unfortunately, We wished a lot for Devin Duvernay and James Prochet, but shucks, Prochet barely got on the field, and I'm pretty sure it's probably because he messed up on something on special teams. He probably got in John Harbaugh's doghouse, whatever the case may have been. But as far as bringing in Corey Davis, like McConnell said, 65 receptions, 984 yards, 5 touchdowns, in a 2020 last year. I mean, I'm not really sold. And he's not going to really be beneficial to us. We need someone with us needing a big receiver, we need somebody that's going to catch the ball. We need someone that's going to actually go and get touchdowns. The jump balls, the 50-50 balls, we're going to need that type of guy. When Lamar had his wide receivers at Louisville, when he had Jalen Smith, he was at ease. You know why? Jalen Smith stretched the field. Also, when he stretched the field, he caught the ball. Also, when he caught the ball, stretched the field, how did Lamar throw the ball? With accuracy, precision, and it was the deep gun. He had an offense truly to his style of play. Granted, I'm not going to even get into the whole Greg Roman offense coordinator. That's another topic for another day, another episode for another day. But I will say, it took for them letting go David Culley. I pray and hope that Deshaun Watson get the trade that he's demanding. But you have Keith Williams and T. Martin, 2 guys, wide receiver coach and pass game specialist, to replace one David Culley. Now, Keith Williams and T. Martin both have great track records. So, you asked me, why do I bring this up? I bring this up because they're actually showing Eric DeCosta, the Ravens, actually show that they want to actually incorporate a passing game to our actual offensive playbook. We saw it. We didn't have the design routes. Our wide receivers didn't extend the routes. And honestly, if you bring in Corey Davis, all we're going to do is get a guy that maybe plays about 5 games a season, and he's going to be beat up and banged up. I mean, he's 6'3", 6'4", 220, and runs like a 4.45. I mean, he should have a 16-game season. He should have more production. Being with us, is he going to get that production? I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna say no. We are a run heavy team. I mean, shoot, I would love to go after a Marvin Jones type of guy. Well, he's in his 30s, but he wants to play for a contender. And what are the Ravens? We are contenders. We actually can make it to the Super Bowl. We've been missing those few pieces. Granted, I don't know how this offseason is going to be. I don't know how Eric DeCosta is working behind the scenes, but just know, guys, he is working. Now, I want to throw that monkey wrench out there. If Eric DeCosta pulls the trigger on a trade, it will have to be the Chargers. The reason I say the Chargers is because they have valuable pieces. And the most valuable piece, I will take a 2nd and 3rd round pick if you give me Marvin Williams for Orlando Brown Jr. Only if you give me
Mike Williams.
Mike Williams.
Yeah.
Guys, I think he's just 20. I think he's 25.
Yeah.
He's about 6'1", 6'2". He can go, he can jump up and get the ball, he can separate, and he knows how to give you yards after catch. That's what we've been needing. He can honestly, I feel like Mike Williams could be that wide receiver number 1, especially for the type of offensive style of ball that we play over here in the AFC North.
Yeah, and something about, bringing in other guys, because, okay, first of all, why are the Ravens like, hey, we got to bring in some guys. Let's go to our 2 rivals, the new rival in the Titans, and the Bengals. I don't understand why they're like, yeah, let's bring. I bet they're going to add Juju to the short list of wide receivers that they're trying to bring in, because and maybe Odell, bring in all the rival teams wide receivers. It's just like would Corey Davis be better than Miles Boykin on the Ravens? Yes, but the amount of money that they'd have to pay him, probably $10 to $15 million a year, Is that worth it? No, because it wouldn't really benefit them. They would still struggle in the passing game.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if they brought in like a bigger name or a guy like Mike Williams, who, in my opinion, Mike Williams is the best jump ball, 50-50 ball wide receiver in the NFL. Doesn't give it a ton of opportunities, mostly because he played a lot of his career with like Phillip Rivers, who is pretty passive when throwing the ball deep. But like he can go up and get it. Same with Kenny Golladay, where it's like that will add like a completely new dynamic to the Ravens offense. Because the Ravens right now, they're speedsters. Hollywood Brown is like 5'9", 5'8", and then Devin Duvernay is like 5'11". Neither of those guys are like big time jump ball guys. You know, James Prochet is a guy who could go up and get it. He's got size. Miles Boykin, he proved against the Titans that you don't want to throw a jump ball to him because he will not jump up and get it. He'll just start playing defense on the defensive back for no reason, not even try and go get it. So like, you know, bringing in a guy that'll be like, oh, I'm going to just go moss somebody, and being able to be like, okay, consistently. Because can Corey Davis jump up and get a big catch? Yes. But is that something that a defense is like, we have to worry about the one-on-one with Corey Davis and put a safety over top? Because that's what we need. If we get a wide receiver that forces a safety over top, that will change everything, because that takes the safety out of the middle of the field, helping the run game. Like, that's the type of thing we need. We need to get the wide receivers to help the run game, not the other way around. Like, it doesn't have to be, oh, we have to get wide receivers so that we can just make the pass game amazing. No, we just have to instill fear. There is no fear in the Ravens passing game.
We have literally three threatening players on our offensive side. That's Lamar Jackson, it's Mark Andrews, and our rookie that's now going to the sophomore season, Jake Robbins. That's it. Nobody respects us on the outside. If we don't get that, if we don't have that presence, honestly, if they would have used Dez Bryant more last year, whether it was the 10 5-yard dumps, even, you know, the jump ball situations, it probably could have changed our situation. But hey, you know, what do we know? We're just guys just talking, watching football.
Yeah.
Like, we're not getting paid the bucks yet.
Yeah. And something that I think this is a good segue. We can wrap up kind of this YouTube video, go into the next segment. So if you're listening on the podcast platform, you know, you won't be able to see this. If you're watching on YouTube, go check out the podcast. You'll see all the episodes that we'll post. We'll post trying daily on YouTube, hit subscribe, all that stuff.